Why should I be more confident in Minnesota, who had a season you can't explain, who in a normal season, if they were to go 7-4 in one possession games, they would have been an 8-win team. Think about that. 12-5 this year. Had they just gone 7-4, which is still excellent in one possession games, they would have been an 8-9 football team. Think about that. You know who would have won the North? The Lions. That to me is the scariest point of all, because when you're a team and your coach over delivers, or your team overachieves, even look at the Giants. Well, what am I supposed to do? See, the Giants are young, so it's kind of okay, but the Vikings are old, and you're not sitting on draft capital. So what the hell are you going to do? And you're in cap hell.
Right.
Minnesota next year, as much as I really like the coach, and I really do, they're a 9-win team next year.
Yeah.
And your Detroit Lions should, can, and I think will win the division at 10-7, 11-6.
I agree.
And I don't think anybody is in their way except one team. Themselves. Because I saw them get in their own way when they were 1-6. And when they finally got past it and got out of the way, stopped making all the stupid mistakes, stopped going for it, stopped kicking onside kicks, stop with all the stupid shit, they finished 8-2 down the stretch. And they got out of their own way. And yes, players got healthy. Yes, coaching got better. A lot of factors in it. Mm-hmm. But the most important thing was you got out of your own way. You let the game come to you. You let Chicago beat themselves when he came back in the fourth quarter. Lions didn't do anything special. They went down. They scored on a quality drive. And Justin Fields decided to throw up a laying duck to Jeff Okudah. Good. Thank you. We'll take that. Thank you very much. Oh, you missed an extra point? Fuck you too. Good job. Thank you. Let teams beat themselves. You don't have to go out and, quote, win every game. And you saw them do that in the last 8 out of their 10 games.
Right.
Lions are the favorites in the North. There's no hire they could make. There's no move they could make. Because at the end of the day, you got the second best quarterback in the NFC. And maybe the Vikings have the fourth or the fifth, depending on how generous you want to be.
And that's the difference. I think the two teams in the NFC North that are obviously trending upwards, you could do the Bears and the Lions. The Bears are a couple years away, though. Got, $100 million in cap space. They have assets, but still, they got a roster with a lot of holes. The Lions have a roster with young, up-and-coming talent. They have some holes as well in the secondary, but you can add to that with the draft capital, with the money they're going to have available. The Vikings and the Packers are both so over the cap. You're going to have to make some tough decisions. Some guys are going to have to get let go, and for the Vikings, it very well could be Dalvin Cook. So the question is, if you're talking about teams that are going to be, in the way of the Lions, you're absolutely correct. It is themselves. I do think the Vikings will contend for the division, but I agree with you. I think 10, 11 wins could win this division. I don't think it's going to be a 13, 12-win team that takes the NFC North. But in this scenario, with the Lions and where they're projected and where they're trending, there's as much as I love the Brian Flores hire, like non-bias, I absolutely love the hire. This doesn't change anything going forward. The Lions, to me, are still a team that very well will contend and might even win the NFC North next season. They have not only young talent, and they have a coach who we think is on the uprise, and Dan Campbell. He's proven that this year. But you got all the pieces to succeed. I mean, you have the best offensive line in the NFC North. You have the best quarterback, especially with Aaron Rodgers leads in the NFC North. You could argue, one of the better run games. You have probably the most weapons besides the Vikings.
You have the best offensive line. You have you could argue the best defensive front.
I think right now...
Premature, maybe.
Yes. I think a more potential, especially if you add a rookie this year who you like at 6. Maybe you add a defensive lineman. I agree. So... the Lions, this does not change what the Lions' focus is. That's going out and beating the Vikings. I mean, you almost beat them twice this season with that roster as it is, even at the beginning of the year when they didn't hit their peak at the end.